first things first, how did this partnership with the athletic department kind of come about for these face mask shields?
Well, that's a great story. I was actually walking my dog and got a phone call with a 294 phone number and thought I better answer that. And so it turned out that it was two of our equipment managers, Chase Clark and Michael Dreyer, and they posed a problem. They said they explained what was going on. They said that they needed something fairly quickly. And I asked, how quickly? And it was about 20 days that they needed to have some equipment. And I said, let me make a few phone calls and talk to Matt. And by that afternoon, we were working together. So it was pretty exciting.
And Matt, what kind of went into the process next on your end?
So the first thing we did was met with Michael and Chase via Zoom, and they showed us kind of what their face shield looks like and what the challenges were with what was on the market today, and they kind of told us what some of the problems were and their desires of how they wanted to mount in there, and what it would look like in a game, and what kind of things these shields might be put through. And from that, we got to work in the lab and started working on designs.
So what was the timetable like in the lab then for you guys? How much time did it take to come up with the concept we see today?
So it was, Thursday morning, we got the phone call. Thursday afternoon, we met. That evening, I spent kind of a late night, working with some paper drawings, and made my way into sort of the CAD realm. And by that weekend, by that weekend, I had developed a basic idea for the prototype, and then met in the lab Monday morning with our lab supervisor, Aaron Jordan, in the Slater Labs, and we created a prototype that afternoon.
All right. And Leslie, how often do these partnerships come about it's not every day at every university you hear the athletic department going to the industrial engineering department for help on this?
Well, that's one of the really neat things, I guess, about our university is that we have really nice relationships that go back years. And so I've actually been working with the athletic department for multiple years for our introduction to industrial engineering course. And they've been allowing our students to come in and tour the equipment facilities, which are extremely high tech and really show a lot of classic industrial engineering thought processes. And so that relationship is part of how Chase and Michael thought of me when they were posed with this problem. So it's neat that they were able to reach out.
So Matt, did you ever expect to be working on a football face shield that basically guards spit from flying forward out of a face mask?
Certainly not that morning when I woke up. But as it kind of works out, it's ironic how things work out. But so I'm a professor in engineering, but I took what's considered a sabbatical this past year, and I was working in research and development with John Deere. And of course, COVID occurred, and turns out that we had challenges like this. We needed shields for workers. And so I ended up working on a team developing an N95 respirator. So I don't know if that's what prompted Leslie to give me a call at first, or just because our lab works on kind of rapid technology development. But yeah, so I didn't expect to be doing something like this, but there's a lot of innovative ideas that are coming out since COVID hit, and so it's been fun kind of thinking about this problem and working with Michael and Chase, and we're just hoping that it provides some protection.
So what is the type of material it's made out of? How pliable is it? I mean, football is obviously a contact sport, so what kind of went into that testing process and figuring out what worked best?
So what we needed something that would be thin and clear. So even though it's down here in the face mask, someone like a quarterback and others, they need to be able to see in their peripheral vision. So we knew it had to be clear. And the guys wanted it to be rigid enough so that it would take shape when you formed it, but would still be pliable enough. And so we were working on very thin plastic type materials. And so the material is a Lexan polycarbonate. It's a real high performance material, but the key to it is that once you bend it into shape, it kind of takes that shape and allows it to fit inside the helmet. We've tested it from 170 degrees to minus 112. We've tested it with the sanitizers and cleaners, and I just have a basic sense that it ought to function in a lot of these environments, but the true test will come practice and game day.
So, I mean, how excited are you, Leslie, to see this put into motion with, practices, and same with you, Matt? I mean, you guys can both answer that, but to have it on every player's helmet, to see it in practice and just see what the feedback is.
Oh, I'm very excited. I really hope that it serves the purpose that they're hoping for. Obviously, it's not going to prevent 100% of a person's breath from moving past the helmet, but we think that it will certainly cut down on those direct exhalations that your O-line and your D-line have when they're 3 feet apart. And so it's certainly better than not having anything. And our hope is that Friday after practice, we're going to get a lot of good feedback in terms of both good and bad, what worked and what didn't work, what can we change, because we'll keep on creating these as we need to for the team. And, if we can make them better, we certainly want to do that. That's part of industrial engineering.
And on that end, Matt, I mean, for you to see a concept put into play, I mean, is that kind of where the fun is for you outside of all the testing and that kind of stuff?
It really is. We, as academics, a lot of what we do just ends up in a journal paper somewhere, and we hope that people read about it. But when you see something actually getting used, the first time I saw a piece of equipment we developed work in a factory, that's really exciting. And this is extra exciting because it's something that, we're going to see on television, a bunch of, teams out there and using this product that we developed. So pretty exciting.
We were hoping. Go
ahead.
I was just going to say, we were also really happy to be able to include an industrial engineering football player. So Blake Clark is a quarterback on the team, and we were able to get some of his input and have him be the industrial engineer with a different perspective of how this could be used. So that was neat.
And I was going to ask, Matt, who all is working on these? I mean, is it students, is it faculty? Who all puts these together, creates them, and gets them done?
So the current set that we've created, they were made in the lab on campus, along with our lab supervisor, Aaron Jordan. And so, after we had created the first prototype, we needed something that would go fast and we'd be able to potentially distribute it out there. And Aaron got it to run on a Cricut cutter. And so this kind of crafting tool that we can find in hopefully some high school parents' homes. So we're looking to share the program for this and make it so that people can do it at home. The shields can be made, this set of 3 shields can be made in about 2 minutes for less than $1 a piece.
So is the ultimate hope for both of you to see this not go beyond Iowa State and make a true impact, not just in Iowa State football, but across whatever levels truly need this?
Yeah, actually, Leslie has just created a site where we're going to post everything about this. And so we're not looking to keep it secret. We're going to post the design. We're going to post the materials that you need to buy. We're going to make available the Cricut program and get it out to anybody that wants to make them.
And Leslie, I mean, is that too? I mean, it's more than just football right now. We're in a pandemic. We're trying to figure out how to get back to some sense of normalcy, and here Iowa State is at somewhat the forefront of it.
I think right now the very best thing that we can all do is be as gracious and generous as possible, and we're just so excited to be able to try to help the team. And if it helps, then amazing, And if it helps beyond Iowa State's team, that's even better yet. We're really grateful for the opportunity. Right. Our department chair, Dr. Kramer, was instrumental in the initial conversation, and she was the person who said, yes, absolutely, let's get Matt involved in this right away. So she was certainly important to the series of events.